What's going on? We're about to start this webinar, but I don't know if we're all streamed up here. Oh, we got like 14 people on here. Okay, let's do it then. If you are in the chat, just say hey, because I am in this room here in the office, and I am just like what do you call it, by myself. So if you're with me, put in the chat here. Let's put a 1 in the chat. Say if you're with me here. Yeah, you got Hector over here. You got Zach's on here. Cool. Zach, we got Hector. Okay, so I guess this is a real thing. So I don't know. So I was just on a phone call just a few minutes ago with another flight school, and I'm just kind of hopping on in this call. So it's kind of I'm a little unprepared, but I'm also not unprepared. So I have some stuff for you. All right. So we'll get this thing started. Okay, we got a lot of people on here. So I guess we'll get going. So okay. So my name is Tim. This is the Rudder Marketing Webinar Series. I'm so happy to have you on here. We have about 15 people, 14 people on the call here, about 20, I don't know, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, I don't know. We have some people on the call here, and I'm super excited to have you on here. So this is a, what do you call it? We are hitting off 2026. So I hope, this is the first meeting, our first congregation we've had in a while. I hope that if you have been spending time with family and friends during the New Year, during the holidays, you had a great time. Hope that everyone had a fun time with their family, because that's so important. I think if you're a business owner or part of a marketing agency or a part of a flight school, we fly all year round. We talk to our team year round. What's really important after all of that really is spending time with family and friends and hanging out. So, we don't work to live. We live to what's the expression? Work to live to work. We do this for the fun and for the passion of aviation, and we also do this just to support our family, really. So if you're on this call, I'm super excited to have you on here. I have some great stuff for you. So let's get started. I think we have some people on the chat here. Raul said hi. Hector said hi. North Carolina. Hope you didn't get snowed in there. I know in St. Louis, where we're at, we had gotten snowed in, I want to say Saturday, Sunday. Monday, it was a little clear. By Tuesday, most of the roads were mostly cleared off. Wednesday, yeah, you're good to go. Now, I know if you're not in a normal part where it snows like normally, like let's say like Texas or Atlanta or something like that, because I know those parts got hit too. If you were part of the region, or part of the the states where that it got snowed in, and you don't have the infrastructure to really take care of the roads, you might be snowed in for a bit. So hopefully you guys are staying safe and warm. This webinar, this series is really all about growing flight schools, growing your business, and I'm really excited to get going. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here. Let's go over some ground rules. Let's see here if I can prepare this. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Give me 1 second. Hold on. All right, here we go. So rules. Yeah. My rules really is very simple. Participate. We got about 17 now. We're almost at 20. So if you got my main ground rules for this session is participate, ask questions. There's a chat budget and a chat widget in the side over there. Just go ahead and ask a question over there. If you want to go on camera, if you have the courage to, I highly encourage it. There's a button on the bottom of the screen that says, "Hey, share your screen, share your camera, whatever, and be a guest on the webinar." I'd love to have you on here, talk to you man to man, woman to woman, whatever it is. I'd love to talk to you and talk about flight schools, talk about growing the business, because that's what we're here for. So really quick, here's the agenda for today. We are going to go over the 2026 marketing plan. So I like to do this. We have a very similar template, a very similar kind of structure for the beginning of the year. What is really the goals of 2026? What are the targets we want to reach? And we want to get what's called KPIs kind of dialed in. So KPI stands for key performance indicators. Those are data points that are in your business that's able to really align you to where you want to go. So for example, if I have, let's say 100, I want to get 100 students this year. I'm currently at 50. Then every single month I need to really dial in, like, hey, by February I want 55 students. By February I want 65 students. By March I want 75 students. By April, May, June, I want 85 students. By like, let's say July, I want it to be around 100. And then you kind of ride the wave until, let's say, September. That's how many students I want to have per month active in my roster. We need to have those KPIs aligned. If you don't have that really built in, and this is the time to do it. So if you don't set these goals, you don't set these targets now, then come July, June, whatever it is toward the summer, you're going to be in a world of hurt because you're like, oh, I'm in the same spot I was in January. Why the hell am I still here? Why the hell am I still here, right? Next thing we want to do is come up with a plan. So I'm going to go over the marketing system that we have here at Rudder Marketing. That's what we've really worked with all our flight schools. Anyone that has been done in business with Rudder Marketing, we call it the flight school marketing system. I'm going to walk you through that system. It's really 5 components, website, SEO, pay-per-click ads, reputation management, and then lastly, your sales process. If you can get all that stuff in line, then really it's just a matter of time. The problem is a lot of times we focus on one aspect, or we don't do it at all. We just focus on operations, which is like, maybe overhauls, training, syllabus, which is very important, by the way, too. It's not, I skip over that stuff, but it's very important. But if you don't have the front load stuff done, like, your sales and marketing aspect of it, then you're not going to be able to bring people in to the operations aspect of it. So, the whole point of this call is to set you up for success. So really, I don't know how many people, there's almost 20 people on this call now. If you're not a current, customer of Rudder Marketing, if you don't work with us on a day-to-day to month-to-month basis, I encourage you to ask questions. Ask questions about what our process is. Ask questions about how we do business. Because I will say this, right now, as of like January 2026, we still have 100% success rate. All the flight schools we've seen, all the actual flight schools that have multiple planes, have students involved, that are growing the business, they actually see success. So this is not, I'm not just tooting my horn here. This is not, fake. This is real stuff. If you're not a customer with us, I would encourage you to ask questions. That way you can get the benefit of, what we provide on a month-to-month, week-to-week basis, on this call. So I'm going to keep going on this here. That's the agenda. We want to get the KPIs kind of dialed in. We want to get, the budget kind of set for the 2026. We also want to come up with a plan of what we're doing on a month-to-month basis. And also, just out of this, not in the slides here, but 2026 is an interesting year. So what I mean by that is the marketing game has changed so much. It was changing a lot in 2025, 2024, and we've seen a lot of advancements with AI. I'm not a big AI fan. I myself, I'm a web developer. I'm a programmer, a software engineer. I'm also a pilot. But I don't want to hop on the bandwagon of this AI stuff. But it is a real thing to consider, and I have some good content related to that, and I'll get into that later. So if you're on this call, let's have a good time. Let's keep going. So what's up here? So here's the agenda. Really quick, just a quick introduction about myself. This is who I am. I am Tim. I am the owner of Rudder Marketing. I have a team of a wonderful team of pilots, of software engineers, designers, software specialists, SEO specialists, ad specialists. We do marketing, and our main intention, our main mission and vision that we're aligned in is to help the aviation industry. So this right here is some pictures of what we've done in the past. I've worked with schools across the country. These are some schools over here. Right here, this is Summit Academy. They're in Kansas City. This is Sun City over there. They're in Miami. Very competitive market, by the way. We got Blue Skies Above. They're over in Alabama. This is on the east side. What we call High Tide Aviation. This is on the west side now. This is not Sun City. I'm sorry. This is Simplify. This is Simplify. They're gonna hate me for this call. Simplify over there. They do a great job. Simplify is over in the Mesa area. This is us at Fasano, by the way. Fasana is coming up in a couple days. I think it's in a couple weeks. If you're not going, highly recommend getting in contact with Bob Rockmaker. Really great guy. He helps push a lot of legislation and regulation regarding flight schools and all this stuff. They very actively participate in the courts and the whole regulatory process. Highly recommend Fasana. We're also just talking about tour schedule here. So we're going to Fasana. We're going to Redbird Migration. That's a fun one coming up soon. That's in March. We're going to Aero Summit. So Stratus Financial is probably the number one provider for financial services for flight schools. They are launching. They have a trade show or a conference, a fun get together. They're doing it in May. So if you're available in May, they're doing a fun show there. Yeah, anyway, this over here, that's Pitcairn Aviation. They're on the East Coast as well. This is iFly team. They're in Mexico, so we're also international. This is a great, we really impact a lot of people. So just want to show that off. This is what we do. This is my team right here. We were in Colombia like late last year, flying the team around, doing discovery flights, showing what aviation's all about. Our mission really is to partner with 100 schools across the country, across the world, really to grow their businesses, to enroll more student pilots. That's what we're all about. So really happy for my team here. We've expanded since then. We have more people on board. Raul, he's on the far left. He does a lot of creative work, a lot of marketing work. Sam, he does a lot of business development work. Guilherme, Lucas, Rodrigo, they help with the operations as far as website, SEO, paid ads. They do a great job. So I have full trust in my team. Let's get into the content here. All right. So one of the biggest changes that has come in is with the new generation coming into the game. We have, Gen Alpha, Gen Z. They are transforming the current system as far as how people are looking for results, how people are looking for answers. When you came to 3 years ago, it was all about this Google search. It was all about, Google search. This one right here, is all about Google search, all about Google ads, and I'm still for it. A similar or another thing that's coming up recently is AI. So AI search, ChatGPT, Grok, they're coming up as 49% of the market share now. They're coming up. A lot of people are asking the AI bots for advice. We need to be able, if you're a flight school, if you are in, let's say, Alabama, if you're in New York, New Jersey, you need to be able to show up on the AI bot search. If you're not showing up on search, whether it's Google, whether it's Instagram, whether it's ChatGPT, Grok, if you're not showing up, you're not getting customers. The last, you have voice assistants in here as well. That's like, say you're doing Uber or, whatever, you have social media being. Social media is also very important. A lot of people focus on the social media piece right here. I'm not opposed to the social media piece. This is a very good part of the marketing game. But we need to establish the infrastructure first, which is your website. That way you show up on Google search and AI bots, and then eventually you do your social media. That's your video creation, that's your creatives, that's your fun shorts and stuff like that. I love the fun shorts, by the way. That's where that comes in. So, but really it's all about the infrastructure. Get the infrastructure done, and then move on to the social media, video creation stuff. That's kind of our plan for all our flight schools. So, just sharing that with you out there, because the game has changed. It's not the same when I first started. When I first started Rudder marketing back in 2022, there was no AI. It's completely transformed. So if you feel that people are finding in different mediums, whether it's Reddit, whether it's ChatGPT, Grok, put in the comments. Hey, I got a new student the other day. It was from Reddit. Hey, I got a new student the other day. It's from ChatGPT. I'd love to hear your feedback on this, because like what I see in the current market is a lot of it is coming from ChatGPT now. I mean, Google search is still, Google ads, all that type of stuff is still number one, but I do feel that there is a lot of market share coming on from other places. So if you have seen that, put in the comments. I'd love to present that to the group here, and share your story. All right, let's keep going. So right here, the biggest form, there's new things you can do here. Obviously the website's is a big piece of it. Social media is another piece of it. I think a lot of it really is all about, this is for 2026. It's all about the discussions and customer experience. So there's an expression out there, we call it EAT. And EAT stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. If you can create content, whether it's video content, reviews, testimonials, blog posts, if you can create content out there that follows the EAT framework, showing that you as the flight school owner has the experience, showing that you as the CFI has the expertise, showing that you as the flight school owner or manager has this company that, we've been in business for 20 years, and then eventually showing this trustworthiness piece. If you're able to show this trustworthiness piece to the world, that's the ticket. So I have a lot of struggles with new flight schools that are starting up. There's a lot of flight schools that partner with us. They lack this. They lack the trustworthiness piece. This is the hardest part because they're new. So, how do we establish the expertise, the experience, the authoritativeness to get that trustworthiness? That is the hardest piece for our new flight school. And I really want, for our new schools that are starting up, or for the previous schools that have been with us for years or have been in business for 20 years plus, it's now showing the internet, how do you show that you are trustworthiness? How do you show that you are trustworthy? How do you show that you have the expertise, the knowledge? Obviously, if you have the gold seal, if you have, Master CFI from NAFI, if you have all these certifications, I get it. You've done that part. That is from the legal standpoint and from the authoritative standpoint, but you ought to bring it from the marketing standpoint too. How do I promote this? If I got my gold seal, let's say last year, I better be promoting the hell out of that. Put it on my LinkedIn, put it on my website, put it on my whatever, Twitter. I got to show that to the world. That way, the robots and the Google chats and the all these other things can pick on these signals. That way, they can show you on top of the search. If you're not showing this stuff to the world, if you're not showing this stuff to Google, to Twitter, Grok, to Gemini, if you're not showing this stuff out to the world, they're not going to know about it, and it's basically a lost certificate. I didn't promote this very well, but I got my HVAC certificate, so I can technically go into a home and install R134. I can do HVAC now. Who would have known? I didn't promote that, but if I did promote that, then you search my name, I would be like HVAC installer. That's what you want from another perspective from CFI. If I got my gold seal, then I would say, hey, I got my gold seal, I got my master CFI. When they search my name, they should see that right away, right? It's the same perspective. So if you have those certifications, if you have those things that you've built over the years, you need to really solidify it, put a press release out, put it in your website, put it in your social media. You need to promote the hell out of that, because that is what ChatGPT, that is what Grok, that is what Claude, that is what Google is searching for. They want to know that you're trustworthy. They want to know that you have the expertise. They want to know that you have the experience. They want to know that you have authority. That way they can trust you and show you to the future people that are searching on their search engines, right? So that is my take on this EAT framework. It is very important. So it's a big struggle for a lot of our customers. They don't want to put this stuff out there. They don't want to put their name out there. If you don't put your name out there, you will not get the customers. If you don't get the customers, that you don't get the students. If you don't get the students, you don't get the revenue. If you don't get the revenue, you can't buy a new plane. You can't hire more people. That's just reality of it. So, right. So these are the trends. So we're looking for AI citations. We're looking for sources. We're looking for people. We're looking for certifications. We're looking for things that can, actual gold nuggets that Google, that ChatGPT, that Gemini, that Grok, and Claude can really sink their teeth in and present to the search user. Your users, your visitors are Gen Z, Gen A, even older people. So think about this, 50, 40-year-old people, they are also migrating from Google and Bing to ChatGPT. They're also they're doing the same thing. So we have to provide them this data of our certification, of our expertise to these engines. That way they can provide this to the users that are searching us. It's not as, I would say, ChatGPT and all this AI stuff is much more difficult because it's framed as an organic conversation. It's not framed as like, hey, flight schools near North Carolina. It's no longer that way. It's more so like, hey, I'm a guy in North Carolina. I'm looking for flight schools. What you got? Right? So we have to be able to show up this way. This is the way to show up. There's no way around it. You got to present your certifications. You got to show your expertise. You got to build the authority. You can't just rely on backlinks, and that's what we do. Backlinks and directory listings. That helps overall, but you need to present yourself. You have to have what's called a UVP. A UVP stands for unique value proposition. You need to have what separates you from the next person, what makes you special, right? So that's what it is. Set clear goals. So that we're going to go over budget. That's kind of the trends that's happening right now. What are your goals for 2026? If you have not set your goal for 2026 yet, I highly recommend you set your goal. So if you were a flight school, you were at $750,000 last year. Hey, my goal is to double the business. My goal is to get to 1.5 million. You put that out in the ethos. If you have not put your goal out there, then you're not going to get it. I'm just going to be real with you. If you just say, I'm just going to work every day, come to the office, fly planes around. If you have not put your goal on paper to your team, to your family, to your friends, if you haven't said your goals to your people yet, it will not come true. Because when people know about your goal, when people see what you're trying to do, it provides that fire under your ass. Call it the FOA, FUA, fire under your ass. If you do not have the fire under your ass, if you're not bringing it to other people, if you're just keeping it inside you, then no one knows about it. You're not going to get motivated to do it. You're not going to get motivated to actually go out and achieve your goals. So tell your wife, tell your husband, tell your team, hey, last year we were at $1 million in annual revenue. We have 7 planes. We're at $1 million in annual revenue. I want to get 10 planes. I want to acquire 3 aircraft this year. And I want to hit $500,000 extra in revenue. And I want to enroll 20 new students. Put that out there. If you don't put that out there, it's not going to come true. So put your goals out there. I'm going to walk you through some goal stuff here. Let's see what I can do here. I have this fun calculator. So this is one of my things I want to share with you guys. So we have about 20 people on the call right now. This is an exclusive. So I'm going to share it with the chat here. It's ruddermarketing.com/2026 calculator. So I want you guys to go to this website. Pretty cool link here. Here it is. I'm going to share it with you guys. This is a cool budget planner that I did. I would, by the way, I'm a pilot, but I'm also a programmer. I'm also a software engineer. I love to program things. I love the new AI software tools out there, and they helped me program this within a couple of days. So this is a really cool tool out there. I want to share it with you guys. This is the lead generation 2026 budget planner. So if my goal, let's say 100, let's say I want to get to $1.5 million. 1.5 million. Currently, I'm at about a little under $1 million in revenue. So I'm about like 75K in monthly revenue. That's where I'm at. So really, if I want to go from 75, I want to double my business in a year. My additional monthly revenue, I need to get 50K in the bank every single month. Let's say I currently have, so if I'm about a 75K business, I got about 50 students, right? So if you're about a little under $500,000 or a little bit, or $500,000 to $1 million in revenue, you should have around 50 to 100 students active in your flight school. If I'm wrong here, just correct me. If that's the case, if you have 50 students, each student on average is bringing you about $1.5 thousand per month. And let's say you have, I don't know, let's say, hey, I actually have more students than that. Then fine, that's fine with me. Then each student is bringing you on average about $900 a month. So it's a fun calculator to play with. Let's keep going with this though. So I have 80 students per month. I'm about a little under, I'm a little under $1 million in revenue. I got 80 students active. they fly their weekend flyers. They fly a couple times a month, whatever. Average student pilot, which is a customer, is bringing me about $900 a month, right? So if I wanted to hit 1.5 mil, then I actually technically need 133 students. That's about, if you subtract 80 from 133, that's about 53 students, right? I need about 53 students total for the next 12 months. So 12 months divided by 12, or 53 divided by 12 is about 4. So really, ideally, I need about 4 new students per month. If I was to really put it from, all the numbers summarized on all this stuff, hey, I'm almost at $1 million. I got about 80 students. They're flying about, 4 times a month. They're bringing me about $1,000 in revenue every single month. Okay, fine. If I want to nearly double my business, I need 4 new students per month. Check this website out. It's a good tool. Okay. I need 4 new students per month. Okay, let's talk about leads, right? So how many leads do I need per month to get my 4.4 students per month to get my goal? That's the biggest question. And that's really about marketing. So it's about putting ads out there. It's about, putting content out there, about putting your website out there, getting your Google business profile done. That's all that. That's the formula, right? I'm going to go into the flight school marketing system in about 30 minutes, like 5 minutes from now. And we're going to go into details about the flight school marketing system, but we need to get this idea of this is the goal. Okay, so I want to talk about really the marketing aspect of it. This is about here. So we need 4 students per month, right? What is the average conversion from lead to actual student? So I'm just gonna tell it out there, 100%. Like, we've worked with schools for the past, 3, 4, 5 years. I've seen it go as high as 10%. I've seen it as low as 0.1%. So it's very hard to put a number on the average conversion rate, because this is not like your conversion rate from people that come in. This is 100% of your leads. So you got to consider this. You got spam calls, you got tire kickers, you got people that are not qualified, people have no money. You got to consider, if I got 100 leads per month, out of that 100, how many is actually going to be a student? In my experience, I've seen about, between 1 to 3%. That's on average. I've seen you take it across the market from West Coast to East Coast, it's really about 1.5, 1.7%, unfortunately. Now, so I say this, and it's okay, is this really my numbers? I'm yeah, that's the numbers, right? Now, the average cost per lead depends on how much you spend on ads, how much return you're getting, how many leads you're getting per month. I've seen for most flight schools, it's between $50 to $100. So let's say I take this down to $100 per month, or let's say I take it down to $50 per month. So, I mean, $10,000 a month, $11,000 a month for marketing just to get these leads in. If I was going from $1 million to 1.5 million, I mean, this is the marketing spend you got to do. Whether that's towards digital marketing, ads, and all this stuff, whether that's going towards making a new billboard, making a new signage, you really got to budget around $10,000 in order to get this. Now, on the other hand, let's play these numbers around here too. So let's get down to a more, I don't want to say realistic, but a more lower end thing. So let's say my goal is $1 million. My goal is $1 million. I'm currently at about a $500,000 business. That's about 40K annual. I currently have, let's say, about 60 students. My average cost is about, I don't know, let's say I can get 3. My cost per lead, I can get that down to 20. Maybe it's $3,000. Maybe it is. I mean, it really depends on, your budget and how you aggressively market it, how well you're able to sell the student. This thing, it can go from marketing is a fun game, because you can spend anywhere. You can spend $1,000 to get a lot of money back in return, but you can also spend $10,000 and get nothing. So I realized that as I run this business, I want all our schools that work with us to be successful. So I try to, call us. We'll give you a good price. It's not going to be $20,000 a month. I promise. It's not going to be like that. But you have to spend money to make money. That's at the end of the game. At the end of the day, this is my kind of take home message: is you have to spend money to make money. If my conversion rate is 3%, if I can somehow raise this to 4%, it goes much lower. The problem is the quality of the lead, the quality of the person that's coming in, and the issue is, does the current market that I'm in? So if I'm in nowhere, Mississippi, did this person really have $15,000 to spend on private pilot training? I mean, you gotta ask it. You gotta ask it. It's something to ask yourself. So you gotta be realistic with this stuff. So I personally, for my company, I spend anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a month on marketing. That's to get new flight schools, to get new FBOs, aviation businesses, more customers into my business. Now, obviously, not everyone has that runway, but I'm just letting you know, like I spend a lot of money on being shown everywhere. A lot of people compliment me and say, "Hey, I know Rudder marketing. I know I've seen you guys everywhere." The reason they've seen us everywhere is we spend so much freaking money on marketing. I'm not saying you got to spend $2,700 a month on marketing, but I'm saying that if you want to get with these numbers, you have to be realistic where you're at. All right. Moving on, this is a good tool. I'll share it at the end of the call here. This is a great tool. Play with the numbers. Play with what you have. It's phenomenal. I love what we did here at Red Rudder Marketing. It's a great thing. Let's get into I talk about this too. Doing all this stuff is doing a pre-flight. You gotta know where you want to go in your business from the beginning to where you want to go in the end of the year, because by October, November, you're checked out. By October, November, this is the numbers you got. So really, right now between October it's game time. So do your pre-flight, walk around the plane, understand your numbers, see where your budget's at. If you want to give us a call, give us a call. I'm not stopping you there. And then finally, let's get in the air. Let's get going to our destination. So if my goal is to $2 million in annual revenue, let's do it. If my goal is to get to $7 million in annual revenue, let's do it. I'm not opposed to it. So let's do it. So take a snapshot, look at your annual monthly revenue, look at your number of students, look at, your key metrics, what's your conversion rate, how many leads am I getting in, what's the average lifetime value of a student, how much money is each student giving me per month, how many flight hours per aircraft am I seeing? I didn't put this in the calculator here, but I will say, from talking to all the schools across the country, if you are not flying your aircraft more than 50 hours a month, average, down season, up season, if you're not flying 15 hours a month, sell that plane or invest in marketing, one of the two, because you are not making money. You are losing money. I would say the break-even point is around 60, 70 hours. If you're not flying your Cessna or your Piper or whatever it is, your Tecnam, if you're not flying that more than 60, 70 hours a month, you're losing money. So either invest in marketing, get more students, or sell the aircraft. And a lot of people don't want to sell the aircraft. That's their baby or whatever. But I mean, you got to do what's right for the business, right? So that's what it is. So set your goal. What do you want to do for 2026? What's your annual revenue you want to hit? If you're at 1 million, do I want to hit 1.5 million? Do I want to hit 2 million? Do I want to hit 3 million? Number of students. If I'm currently at 50 students, active students, then I want to hit 150 students in the next year. Then you better hit that. If I want to take here, by the way, I'll talk about these numbers like nonstop throughout the year. I'll talk about revenue. I'll talk about flight hours. I'll talk about, number of leads per month. That's kind of my job as the marketing guy. But on a real aspect of here, maybe we've been working for 20 years and we're tired. Is your goal in 2026 to take a family vacation? Is your goal in 2026 to spend time with family? Maybe it's hiring a new operations manager. Maybe it's hiring a new CFI. Maybe that's your goal. That way you can spend time with your family as a business owner. I really put that out there because I think that we don't get into business, we don't get into flight training and running a flight school because of money. We get into business for the freedom. We want to have freedom with our family, with our friends, with our loved ones. We get into business for the impact. We want to make sure we have a wonderful customer base that supports our vision, right? If we get so focused on the operations of things, we forget this family aspect of it. And I had interviewed several multimillionaires in my past, and this guy was like 70 years old. I had interviewed him like a while ago, and I remember I was like a naive 18-year-old working for him. I said, "Hey, you know, I really respect you, and you've made a great business. What's your number one regret?" And he told me, my number one regret was not spending enough time with my daughters, with my family, with my children. Um, by the time he finally hit past several $1 million in annual revenue, his daughters and his children were 20 years old, and they were off in college and away. And if you're not spending time with family, I mean, you got to spend time with family. So that it kind of brings me down to the final answer here. Is like, what's your why? What's your reason for doing all this? Like, we get into flight training. I love flying planes. It's a wonderful privilege that all of us have. But we really need to dial in our why. We really need to dial in, like, well, what are we doing this for? Because if we don't, if us as the manager, if us as the operations manager, or as us as the business owner of the business doesn't have the correct why, if we're just doing it as a slog, it's not going to go anywhere. So you need to understand your why. You need to have your goal set in place, and you need to, like, drive the business towards that goal. This is probably the most important piece for any business. Doesn't matter if you're a laundromat, a lawn care company, a flight school, a marketing agency. You need to understand your why, and this also for employees too. If you're a manager at a business, or a part of the management team or a leadership team, you need to understand your why. Why do you even get out of bed and work for flight schools, or work for anything, or work for pilot training? Um, yeah, we need to really love. We need to love aviation. I mean, at the end of the day, we need to love aviation. We need to love our family. So I hope that all these above here can support that. You know, I hope that you can get the revenue you want. I hope you can get what you're looking for in the next 12 months, because that's my goal here. My goal is to support my family first off, support my family, my wife, no kids right now. I hope I can support my wife. I hope I can support my family, my mom and dad, and I hope I can travel the world. And I hope I can impact a lot of student pilots that are thinking about flight training, because that's my mission. That's my vision. Okay. So I go over the why here. Let's go over the actual nitty gritty here. Your marketing strategy. So this is what I talk about on a daily basis. It's the flight school marketing system, FSMS. There's 5 components of it: your website, SEO, pay per click ads, reputation management, and converting sales. That is the formula towards all of it. If you can get more details, if you go to ruddermarketing.com/marketing system, there's really 3 steps. You take these 5 components, website, SEO, pay-per-click advertising, reputation management, and sales. You take those 5 steps, or those 5 components. It really boils down to 3 steps. And the first step is getting people to know who you are. The second step is getting them to become a lead, which is like getting them to fill out a form, or getting them to give you a call or something like that. And the last step is to do the sales process on them and convert them from a prospect to a lead. That is really it. If you can get your awareness out there, if you can get the commitment from them, and if you can get them to give them your contact information and enroll them, that is the process of actually growing your business. That's it. It's simple. It's simple, but it's hard. I try to put it down to as easy as possible. This is not easy. This is a hard thing to do. I'm going to go through each one really quick here. We got about 20 minutes left on this call here, so I will bust through everything. If you want more details, by the way, I highly recommend going on Amazon or contacting me on my website. We have this book here, Flight School Handbook of Marketing Knowledge. It goes through all 5 steps. The flight school website, SEO. By the way, SEO. Let's talk about SEO for a little bit. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It was very big in 2022, 2023. The same tactics for SEO still apply today with AI and all that stuff. So this book is a wealth of knowledge. It's basically what we do for our flight schools, on a very high level thing, but it gives you the knowledge, the ground school to really to get going. So if you have not read the book yet, if you have not seen the stuff yet, I highly recommend checking this book out. I'm gonna put it back here. But I highly recommend checking that book out. It's really good. The name of the book, by the way, is Flight School Handbook of Marketing Knowledge. Check it out on our website. It's for free. If you are a flight school owner or a manager at a flight school, if you're a pilot, we will send it to you for free. So that is a free copy if you are a flight school. If you're not a flight school, if you're not in aviation, I will not send it to you for free. You need to buy it from Amazon. So, all right, let's go through each one. We're gonna bust through this very quick. So, website is very important. We're gonna start by the foundation. Just kind of bring it back here. So the website is the most important part of marketing. Why do I say this? Because when they look at you at social media or AI, they're going to come to your website. So I like to bring up one of my, I don't want to say my favorite school. Where's my mouse at? I am out of battery here. All right. One of my favorite schools, one of our first schools we worked with, is Sun City Aviation. They are in Miami. I want to bring this up because it's all, when you talk about your social media, when you talk about ChatGPT, you talk about all this stuff, what happens eventually is they're going to land on this page. They're going to land on your website. So you need to make sure it's optimized for mobile. So it's like the mobile view. You need to make sure it works on desktop and tablets. Tablets are also pretty popular. The main thing that I have here is establishing authority, which is one thing. Show that you are the authority in your niche, authority in the local area. Then secondly, you need to have a way for that person visiting your website to leave their information to you. They need to be convinced by looking at this that, hey, this is a school I want to do business with. This is where I want to get trained at. Let me contact them. And the way we do this is certain things. So we have certain like copy here, like, can you become a pilot? Take the quiz, so on and so forth. They also have a chat widget in the bottom right. Can you leave a chat widget? Can you take a, even every button has some type of form that it leads to. And that's kind of my main takeaway here. When people visit your website, do they know how to get in reach? Do they know how to pursue the next step? Because that's kind of that's the hardest part, is understanding, like, does my design and my UI UX really, UI UX stand for user experience, user interaction, right? It defines how a person goes on your website, goes on your profile here, and they know what the next step is. I've seen a lot of flight school websites. I've seen a lot of aviation websites. It says, oh, here's our fleet. Here's our stuff. Here's our whatever. And they never really provide the next step to become a customer. So even right off the bat, you have the phone number on top here. You have start today. You have book a discovery flight. You have enroll now. Just off this one picture, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 ways that the customer can now interact with me as a business, right? So we want to make sure there's ways for the customer, for the viewer, to interact with me as a flight school owner, to get in contact with them. So provide as many options. I think we also provided a booklet for them, even somewhere. Yeah, booklet is another option we can have. Downloadable content. We want to have something to give to the viewer to have them give us their contact information, because I think all we care about as a business owner is their name, their phone number, their email, and what they want. What do they want? If I have 2,000 visitors on my website, but I have no leads, that doesn't mean anything to me. I need to have the lead. So whether it's building a book, whether it's putting some blog post out there, whether it's getting another call, find ways to really get that viewer on your website. On the other aspect of it here too, you think about this. So that was a desktop view. I kind of shared with you the mobile view. Make sure it works for mobile. Make sure it works for the phone. Make sure it works for your cell phone. Us as pilots, there's actually a significant amount going to tablets. People use tablets as well to search for content because they're on ForeFlight already anyway. They're doing a debriefing, whatever. They're on their tablets. So tablet is also another perspective. You make sure it works on a tablet too. That's another aspect that a lot of marketing agencies skip because it's usually just phone or desktop. I think for flight schools and aviation businesses, we need the tablet because people use ForeFlight. So another thing I'll recommend to you is this book that it's a required reading for all my staff members as for the design aspect of it. Refactoring UI. It talks about how to do typography, how to do fonts, how to do colors, how to do spacing. Just make it modern. I mean, it's kind of subjective. Unfortunately, there's not a really clear answer. I can't really put it on I could put in bullet points, but it's really about enough white space, the right font, sans serif versus serif, professionalism versus like cool. There's different feels you want to get for. It's also about like spacing, how far your button should be from the main text. All this stuff is covered in refactoring UI. And my team reads this. They try to implement it at every website we do. That's why all of our websites looks crisp, because they read this book. They realize that this is how the modern UI, the modern website is being created right now. So read that book. It's a book that I highly recommend. We're gonna talk about SEO next. So we talked about we're going the flight school marketing system here. It's really about, this is really this piece right here is all about converting people. This right here is getting people on your website. It's about traffic. There's different ways to do it. There's ads, for example. We're gonna get into that in a couple minutes here. I only have 15 minutes left here. But search engine optimization is kind of where AI comes into play. It comes in where Google and Bing and DuckDuckGo comes into play. It's all about putting the right keywords into your website and also your social media and also your backlinks. So if I have an event, let's say with Fasana or with the local community college, I want to tell the community college, hey, when you describe our school, we are a flight school that does private instrument commercial training for future pilots and airline pilots in North Carolina, in the Wilkesboro area. We are at Airport KXYZ, and here's our phone number. Here's our link to our website. Like, that provides so many keywords. That description I just did is just out of the cuff. That provides so many keywords for that future, website or for that future sponsorship, that hopefully it helps build the keywords to build to your website. The more times you're mentioned online, whether it's through your website, your social media, press releases, events around your area, local community colleges, even the local airport. So your local airport, if they don't mention you as a flight school, that's a big red flag. You want to get mentioned on there because that's off-page marketing, right? You put these keywords, flight school, pilot training, instrument training, private pilot, multi-engine trainings, Seneca, whatever it is, Seneca, Piper, whatever keywords you want to put. You put that in your header. So that's kind of, you can do this with WordPress and Squarespace and Wix. There's a certain spot you put these keywords in. You have it in the actual content of your website. You have it in your backlinks and your descriptions whenever they mention you. You have in your title of the website. So even this. So look at this. This is Canva, but right now it says January webinar marketing. So that is the title of the website. But you look at here. This is like the calculator I gave you earlier. It says digital marketing for flight schools, Rudder marketing. So it's already pushing on the certain keywords that I want to get. You want to add that to the title of the website. Schema is another thing I didn't really talk about. That is on the back end of things. So if you go to our main website here, I'll get a little technical with you guys here. Schema is what's called a JSON. JSON stands for Java. It's like a different type of format, like XML. It provides what your address is, who the people in charge is, what your object is. It provides where you are located, what you specialize in, your offer. You need to be able to program that into your website on the back end. That way, ChatGPT, AI, and also Google can understand what your business is all about. I have different website links in here. I have my Instagram, my Facebook. This does not get shown. So if I go back to my main website, this is not shown. This is on the back end. So you need to be able to program that on the back end. That way the ChatGPT bots can see it. That is what schema refers to. I'm running out of time here. I don't think I can cover everything. So I think I'm gonna cut this short. So we talk about website, we talk about SEO, pay-per-click advertising, the next one we go over. So advertising with Google. So this is that's not pay-per-click. So pay-per-click advertising is a really good aspect of it. I want to get into this a little bit because it's very important. One of the things that I want to talk about, the biggest vendor, the biggest platform out there was always Google. So we've always capitalized for our flight schools and our businesses, Google. The next one after that was actually Meta. So Meta is Facebook and Instagram. And Instagram has always popped up as the next one after Google. Now, what I will share with you is currently they are doing beta testing, or like, what do you call it? It's not in the aviation market yet. However, on ChatGPT and Grok, they are actually running ads. So right now, if I go to ChatGPT, you're not gonna see anything right now. But in certain markets and certain demographics and certain places in the US, they are actually launching ads on ChatGPT. So it's the same principles, click-through rate, keywords, demographic, targeting, copywriting. If you can get all those aspects correct, these concepts transcend whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, Google, Reddit, Hulu, ChatGPT. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, they will always, it's the same principles. The next thing that's coming up in the near future is ChatGPT ads. So right now we invest in Google ads. That's kind of where the moneymaker is. I do see in the next 6 months, maybe a year, I don't know, ChatGPT will be part of the marketing plan for a lot of our flight schools. We need to add ads. We need to add ads to ChatGPT, and that sort of thing. So right now, this is kind of a good snapshot of a good performing school here. We got about $1,000. We usually recommend $1,000 to $3,000 on ads. We want as much money. The more money you spend on ads, the more results you get. But obviously, there's a difference of like, hey, how much can I invest in ads? How much can I actually do? I don't know. Usually, it's between $1,000 to $3,000. $3,000 is where I've seen the top limit, because at that point it becomes an operational constraint. You get so many leads coming in, you get so many discovery flights in, you can't service those people unless you have, let's say, 20 planes. So typically we encourage most schools to hang around the $1,000 rank as far as how much money you need to spend on ads. So that's really where it's at. CTR stands for click-through rate. So if I show my ad to 2,000 people, I get 200 clicks. That's about 10% click-through rate. Conversions refer to how many people fill out a form, how many people give you a call. Then also the targeting is involved. So it's your geographic targeting and your keywords. You program that into your ads manager, whether it's on Facebook or Meta or Google, and you go there. So that's really what that's all about. And I really recommend you have to have this portion of there. So especially if you're a new school, that has no authority on the marketplace, you need to run ads. That's the only leverage point you have. Until you can get the organic traffic that goes to your school, you have people like, searching you. You have to invest in ads from the get-go, because if you don't do that, you're not going to have any traffic, you're not going to have any authority. So that's why I always bring it back to this the system here, because you can't rely on one thing only. You can't rely on your website and SEO. You need to also add, your reputation, your sales process, and ads on top of it. So it's a big ask, but that's what it takes to get you off the ground. So a lot of schools, the ones I've seen that aren't successful, are the ones that don't do the entire program. You need to have an ads program involved with all this stuff. All right, next one before I get into the sales process is the reviews. So reviews are very important. Most flight schools have under 20 reviews on their Google business profile. So if you are a flight school that's starting out, if you can somehow surpass more than 20 reviews, I guarantee you will have a lot more customers. This is what people search for. People look at the reviews. People look at what people are saying about your school. You need to have the social media aspect covered. Your YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Get that covered. Ideally, you have video testimonials. That one is a piece right there. If you can get a student pilot talk about how great you are as a CFI, that is the cake. That is awesome. That's what we've done for schools. If we can get them on camera, we can get them talking about how awesome our school is. That's when we see the best success. Right here, this is about 60 reviews here. I've seen some schools that we've worked with us for years. They've gotten over 100. It's not impossible. But it is a consistent thing. You have to do it on a consistent basis. So reviews is part of reputation management. The other one I didn't mention is like Reddit, online forums, Pilot Central, things like that. Make sure you search those forums regularly. Make sure there's no bad people. There's no people saying bad things about you. Check it out. Check out your Reddit. Check out your Google search. Make sure there's no one saying anything bad things about you, because if they are saying bad things about you, you need to be on the table. You need to be talking to them and say, hey, this is what we do. Here's our flight training program. Let's go. All right. Reviews. The last aspect of the flight school marketing system that I'm going to cover in the last 5 minutes is the sales process. The sales process is really hard. I can talk about this for a whole hour, but really it's all about consistency. So if there's any key takeaway with this, it's about consistency. You can automate certain things. So that's what we do in Rudder. We automate certain things. So for example, a discovery flight, you fill out a form, they get an email, they get a text, they get, whatever it is, they get a packet of information. You can automate the stuff. But what I really, we do this, but what I want to get at is the consistency and also the human aspect of contacting people. So you talk to your customers, talk to the students. You can rely on automation to help you, but I really encourage people to, categorize where every single lead, so if I messaged a flight school, say last week, I would be considered a new inbound lead. From there, if my staff reached out to this person, there'd be a follow-up. If they came to my school to tour the discovery flight, they would do intro flight scheduled or intro flight done. From there, after they do the flight, do we follow up on the next step? If they have not converted to a student, what's our next step as far as converting them to follow? Can I go back to the flow chart? Yeah, I'll go back to the flow chart. So if after the discovery flight, if we have not yet messaged them to the next step, what's the next step after that? So we need to have that kind of like built in. So for us, after we've done the discovery flight with them, we will say, hey, they didn't register as a student. Then we need to move them to another workflow where we send them newsletters, text messages, campaigns, whatever it is to get them involved. That way they can push through the fence, right? So they're on the edge of flight training. We did the discovery flight. How do we get them converted to an actual student? They obviously want it. It's just a matter of finances. It's a matter of being committed, matter of putting the sacrifice in. The thing that we got to realize is a lot of these students, they don't have $10,000 to spend on flight training. So we have to be able to stay in top of mind and be able to be, on the top of their heads. That way, when they do save the $10,000, $20,000 for flight training, that they're ready to pull the trigger. Because like the sale you don't make in January is a sale you make in July. If you don't make it in January, I guarantee you, if they were already on the fence, they really want it, they will come back in July. The problem is what happens with most flight schools is they don't continuously follow up with the student. And that's the biggest problem. So, all right. I went over the sales process. I know this is very brief and I hate to cut it short. I'm already towards the end of it. I want to end this call here because I want to respect everyone's time, but this is the aspect of the flight school marketing system. It's hard. It's not easy. So, I mean, my team, we do a lot of these assets. We do the ads, we do the SEO, the website, we do the automations. A lot of it is time. We also help with the reputation management. We also help with getting people out there. We do searches for you. We try to, mitigate if there's any negative reputation out there. We try to get that out there for you. But it's a lot of it's just time. A lot of it is just, stay in contact with the customer or the prospect and getting them involved. So it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. If I was to, thinking back 5 years ago, I thought it was much more easier than it is today. This is not an easy game. So if you're still on this call, if you're a flight school owner, and if you're a manager or part of the staff, then I commend you, because I know it's hard. I do this on a day-to-day basis. I know it's hard. Right now, January is, especially depending on your area, if it's snowed in, a lot of people the demand is very low. So I just put a video out there. There's no demand in Baltimore, the East Coast. There's no demand in the West Coast, East Coast right now, like as far as the Midwest and all that stuff. The main demand is in Florida and California and Texas. That will change come March, April. in March, April, the whole market will change, and it shifts every year. Right? So I encourage you to stick with it. If you need help, holler at us, 314-804-1200, info@redruddermarketing.com. I will stay on for about 5 minutes. I have another call coming up, I think. But if you have questions, I want to open up the floor for questions. So I know we have about 20 people on the call now. I will open the floor to anybody if you have questions. Otherwise, we will end here. But I want to open up the floor to people that might have. I've talked too long. That's too much content. I gotta cut that up shorter. Who has questions? Atlanta's busy too. Atlanta's busy. Skybound. Jay, I hope you call me. I hope you call me, man. I don't know if you talked to me or Sam already, but give us a call. Tom, yeah, Nevada's crazy. Las Vegas is crazy. California is going crazy right now. Midwest, East Coast, not so much, unfortunately. Thank you, Jay. I really appreciate your feedback in here. Tom, thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate you hopping on the call here. I think I know who these people are that are texting me. Thank you, Hal. Hal, I miss you. Hop on the call, Hal. We missed you last month. Give us a call, and I really hope that if you are on this call here, if you need help with growing your flight school, my team has been doing this for years. We really want to help you guys. I really want to help the flight school market grow. My main take on it is really getting more people in the industry. I think there's a perception with people that are outside the industry that it's not possible. And that's my main gripe is like a lot of people don't understand that flight training is very accessible. There are airports all around their city that can do this. And I think because there's no resources out there, because there's the gated fence, they don't understand that they can easily just, start training and get it in there. So really appreciate everyone hopping this call here. If you have questions, I really encourage you to call us 314-804-1200, info@redruddermarketing.com. Last question. What do I need input to get students? I'll read the book first. That's what I do. First off, I get your website going. Get your website, get your social media going. After that, I will do ads. So you need those 3 pieces. So website, social media presence, and then ads. If you can get those 3 pieces started, you should be able to get to at least $500,000 to $750,000 if you have the infrastructure. From there, you boost it with Rudder. Unfortunately, we do the exact same thing, but we take it up a notch, and we take you to like $1.5 to $2 million, maybe 3 or 5 if you're already at that scale. How much do I need to spend on ads? I would spend more than $1,000 in ads. That a lot of people don't want to spend more than $200. It's not worth it. You can get away with maybe $500, but it's not worth it. I would put $1,000 to $1,500 on ads. That's what I would put. So, last questions? Any questions here? All right, we're gonna end here. I really appreciate everyone hopping on this call. We will submit this recording out to the public. I hope to see you at FASANA, Flight School Association of North America. We are going there. One of my team members will be at Redbird Migration in March. We'll also be the main sponsors of Aero Summit in, I don't know, they're in Florida, I think. That's Stratus Financial. We'll also possibly be in Sun and Fun and Oshkosh. I don't know about that. We're also sponsors of We're also sponsors of NAFI, National Association of Flight Instructors. We'll be there probably in October, November. And then lastly, towards the end of the year, we have the King Schools. John and Martha King will probably hang out with them towards the end of the year too. So if you are a flight school owner, highly recommend connecting with the network, connecting with the people out there, and we are here to support you. So if you have not gotten your question answered yet in this call, give us a ring. I will talk to you one-on-one, and I hope to see you next time. So I got to get going. I got another call in a couple minutes. I will see you guys soon. See you guys later.